I think we are live now.
Not yet. Well, maybe. Let me see.
Let me see.
Let me see. Let me check.
Yes.
Are we live?
I think.
Yeah.
Well, folks, we had a bit of technical challenges, but we made it. And actually, we made it in record time. So imagine that, Trina. So,
Oh, that's fabulous. But I'm still not seeing us here, Wayne. Let me see on the other one. Hold on.
oh, it says we're streaming now. So,
Okay.
yeah, everyone's going, yeah. Well, thank you,
We're
Gilbert.
here. Yay.
So, hey, it's we no longer live in the world of natural man. We now live in a simulation of where computers give the
Within a
command.
simulation.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, Wayne.
Freaking weird, you know?
Yeah.
It's like I was talking to my wonderful wife last night, and she says, you're a deep thinker. But I was saying, it's interesting that I said, honey, you and I occupy a place in space.
Yeah.
And I said, it's interesting because the question becomes, how many other spaces are we occupying? And she said, would you just get me a cup of coffee? And anyway, so welcome everybody. Speaking favor over us all. Trina, how are you doing, my dear?
I am wonderful. Just good.
Well, it's so good. And speaking Bosto, we be
Yeah.
prospering all over. Happy birthday if you
Speaking
got
a
one.
lot of Bosto lately, Wayne. And I think it's because I've been sleeping in the t-shirt.
Well, it carries the vibe. That's all I got to say, So did you have a good Halloween?
It was so fun. The kids are so precious. It was just a wonderful, wonderful night.
It was
my niece and my nephew and their two children, and my other niece showed up. And she brought her new puppy. Her name is Rosie, and she looks like Toto. She's so precious. She would not stop kissing my daughter. It was so cute. Oh, precious. Yeah,
we had some friends that had these teacup dogs, and they were just cute as ever. I can't understand why someone would breed them, but they were just darling, Yeah, it was a good day. Hello, everyone in the chat. How are you doing? Lost in Space, Jackie, Huddy, good to see you. Joe, what's up? Aren't we occupying time as well? We're immersed into it.
I think we're occupying multiple layers of time simultaneously all at the same time. We just don't have awareness of it.
Someone once asked me a question. They listened and they knew, they found it fascinating that at the young age that I was at, that, I was taking a lot of LSD, other hallucinogenic psychedelics, and digging it. And they said, well, could you possibly tell me what that experience is? And I began to think about this, and the best thing I can say is that all of us exist in multiple states of consciousness through a day. We awake from an unconscious state into what we perceive to be consciousness, but then that consciousness is altered by the consumption, let's say, of caffeine. You're now putting a chemical into your body that is affecting your brain, that affects your consciousness. And I said, merely the fact, I said, what I learned, and there was a discipline involved. I did it for recreational, but there was also lessons that I were learning, is that you can get an altered state of consciousness, like, in a deprivation chamber, that will literally send you outside your body. And it's interesting. Does that state of consciousness exist anyway? Whether I was going to tap it or not? Yeah, that's my point. Exactly.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing that's interesting, like when people drink wine, beer, or other, libations, is because we all love libations, that they call it spirits.
Yes.
And if you know how whiskey or alcohol, hard liquor is made in a still, that is alchemy. It's a
Yes.
blending of the ethereal and the physical, where the byproduct, if consumed, will alter your state of consciousness. Anyway,
Wayne, I think you just explained what we are.
wow, that could be a thesis, right?
I'm telling you, you just explained what my concept of it is of what we actually are. You just explained it through that process. It's the blending of the matter and the spirit, and the
Yeah.
spirit has an awareness and can transform and change and take over and have awareness of I am. That's why when they get good and drunk, they turn into other people sometimes.
Oh,
A different
yeah, yeah.
awareness takes over the body, different personality, different being. It's
And then if
spirit.
you mix, for
Yeah,
instance, if you mix cannabis with alcohol or with other
yeah,
things,
yeah.
holy crap. I mean, now you're on the merry-go-round,
Yes.
because you're about to be mixing multiple states of consciousness at the same.
Yeah.
What was that movie, Altered States,
I don't know.
that was out in the 70s? You should watch it. It was who was the guy that played in broadcast news?
I have
That
no idea.
was the someone in the chat room will bring it
Yeah,
up.
I'm
But
terrible at TV, Wayne.
but broadcast news was a great movie. I really enjoyed it. Someone will actually say who it is. But here it is. I mean, now you're mixing multiple states of consciousness that somehow or another, as I told Lynn, I said, I think we've entered into a space that where the veil is now becoming almost transparent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said,
Wayne, I don't know that it's like it's just getting there. Yeah, it's getting easier for us to access it, but it's
William
always
Hurt,
been
thank you, Gemini Ascension. Much love. Yeah,
there. It's always been there, but we're able now to actually just totally go there. And it's
yeah.
through your consciousness and your awareness and the perceptions you now can hold in your own consciousness. It's from where you're going as an individualized human being with an awareness. That's what I mean. We are so powerful, but it's completely up to your mind where you go with your beliefs and with your thoughts. So guard
So
them carefully.
while you were talking, I'm jumping to a place because when I saw William Hurt, not only wasn't that, but also The Big Chill, which is one of my favorite movies. Have you ever seen The Big Chill?
I think I might have seen that one.
Oh, watch it again. It is such a poignant movie of the time. It captured that moment in the 60s and in the early 70s, as we as a species were actually making this transition, the age of Aquarius, because that was the big song with Fifth Dimension. But
Yeah.
anyway, so as you were talking, I'm back there in my consciousness. I am back at the place, at the theater, at the Metro Center in Nashville, Tennessee, watching that movie.
Wow.
But at the same time, I'm deeply engrossed in your words.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's time travel.
I think it would be,
It is. I think that's how they do it. It's based
Yeah.
on a memory, an
Yeah.
event, something you can lock into. I think it's based on that. So weird. Yeah, that's time travel. And what's so weird, Wayne? I can see, like when you say that, I can see what you're seeing.
See?
That's one of my gifts, is I've always been able
Yeah.
to really lock in my imagination and ride the wave of another one's consciousness. I don't know how. And I've been reading this book called Anastasia.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing book, the Ringing Cedar series. It's an amazing book. And it talks about how she has a ray where she can see things and she can use her imagination and she can travel anywhere in the world. She can experience different people's thoughts. I've always had the ability to do that. And it's so amazing. We have, like I said, all technology is based on what we are already organically. So they're mimicking what we do. So telepathy, telekinesis, all these things, time travel,
And you know, someone
Here
wrote
we are.
you know, a flashback. Well, here's the thing I'm thinking. If we have the ability to do a flashback, which means that the moment was created, so that's in essence a piece of time that
Yeah,
becomes timeless.
yeah.
So do we have the ability to be flash forward? Can we
Yeah,
get glimpses of the future? And I think we can.
yeah,
You
but
know,
see, the future is sketch because
mhm.
it's still sitting in the wave form. There's no particles yet. You know what I mean? Because it
Yeah.
hasn't been focused on yet, but in essence, it already has to. So it's tricky because it can super change because you can change it. Just like when it affects the past too. When you change future, it changes the past too. It's like a ripple. So it's the
I'm
butterfly
getting
effect and
Sarah
all that
Connors
stuff.
in my head as she's, you know, carving out that, you know, the future
Mhm.
is not set.
It's not.
And yeah,
You can change
but you
it.
know, you would, but to the counter of that argument would be, well, look at where we are today as a species. I mean, we are on the brink of nuclear war. I mean, who would have ever thought? I mean, and this kind of segues into what I was talking about yesterday is what, you know, the curse. I mean, what species of any intelligence would even conceive of using? Now we have already. I mean, they say, well, it ended the war. Okay, I guess, you know, I wasn't alive at the time when that event happened, but that event altered my entry because apparently if you look at this, if we're looking at life, right, and if you believe in the recycling of life,
Mhm.
but no matter what, I know I'm here, so there was a time I was entering in. Well, that reality was altered by the event in 1945 with the bombing of Hiroshima.
Mhm.
And you know, so now here we are, and less than 100 years later, and now we're hearing this, and you just got to ask yourself, what happened? I mean, I love all the enlightenment because that tells me something is trying to communicate an alternate reality than the
Mhm.
one that we're facing right now. I mean,
Yeah,
what I'm seeing unfolding is the book of Revelation. And
absolutely.
it's no surprise. I mean, we
No.
know the script. All of us are the
Yes.
characters.
Bingo. Bingo. Yeah. The script. Everybody's following the script. But
Yeah.
what if, I'm not going to follow the script. Are you going to follow the script?
Well, you know, I'm looking at it and I'm going, you know,
Mm.
that's why religion and let me tell you, the world in general hates independent thinkers
Well, yeah, duh, because
because
we
we're
wrecked
sitting there
their
going,
plan. We wrecked their
I'm
script.
not going to do that.
Right. We
Hey,
wrecked the
what?
script. It's like, oh shit, they're not going to do the
Your
script we want
mama
them to do. Yeah. No. Yeah. No. Yeah.
and the
And it's so,
people they've, you know,
you
made
know,
the neon god. And here we are. We're going,
okay, we're gonna talk about fairy tale land and pretend snakes and lizards and how the things happen. So, snake goes into the garden and bites the humans, and the humans get brought into the serpent system through third dimensional, lower dimensional experiences and bodies and physical sensations and flesh. So through that takeover, do you think that humanity would really do this to itself? I don't think it would. So I think that it's
folks,
something
we did
malevolent.
not talk before on all this before we were trying to get online. So Trina, how interesting.
Yeah.
It's, you know, the connection is made there. I want to
Yeah.
show you what I pulled up this
We always do that
morning.
way. I love it because I did it first this time.
You know, and so what I want to show people is the story. So allow me to get over here and let's pull this up real quick. So this is the Adam and Eve in the Greek. This is the pseudo-apocrypha. These are some of the earliest mosaics that we have of the concept of a male and a female.
Wow.
Now, here's what's so interesting. when they were rewriting the script, they had to alter some of what actually happened because if they didn't, then the story becomes convoluted. So here's the point. With man, Adam was a hermaphrodite.
Yeah, I think that is absolutely.
Oh, it's an absolute truth. This is Adam.
Yep.
And he had wings. It had wings. But what also it had within it was it, and this is kind of the representation of how the two were blended, because if you look at Genesis, the 3rd chapter, which is the second creation of this species, Adam was existing way before Eve ever came along.
Yep.
Which is different than in Genesis 1:26, where the male and the female were both created at the same time. So we have this thing that made this, and this is all you can say. The original Adama had a womb.
Yes.
And that's where we get the extraction of womb man.
Yes.
Coming from him. So it's real interesting when you begin to think about what's taking place here. And that is, okay, so what creature would create basically an asexual being? You know the term "go fuck yourself"? Well, that literally applies here. Because that's basically, and in one of the, we're going to read a part of this, is that in the book of Adam and Eve, Adam had a problem having coitus with Eve. And, the story we'll see, the angel had to come down and explain to him. But Adam's question to this angel was that, why would I have sex with myself?
Correct.
Now that it really creates some interesting dynamics. And then you have this event that we are all led to believe took place, that, Adam was put out. We know that this was, if you read it in between the lines, this was a genetic, extraction.
Yep.
And now we have this being that was never part of the original creation.
Yep.
This gets so weird because, and I'll stop right there because I want to get some of your take on this.
I think so much of that is true, but I think it's even bigger. I think somehow I think serpent energies came all the way from the higher realms of plasma, and plasma got into angelics, and angelics then were able to produce like dragons, and then dragons were actually the ones that genetically created the eggs that house the Adamic man. And I just see it.
But let's extract that backwards, though. The question is, why would there ever be a rebellion? If perfection was, or is, or could be, where would there be room for rebellion against perfection?
Think about it. In a material animalistic kingdom, it's just, it doesn't have awareness of itself the way that humans do.
So why was that created, though, that state?
I think that the animal kingdom, which the head of the animal kingdom apparently is the serpent. So the animal kingdom somehow decided it wanted the power of the immortal part of man. So
well, then that gets that whole issue again, and here's where I'm running into difficulty in, my thinking. What you and I are discussing here in a very intelligent, fluent exchange of thought, but what's missing here is the feminine. Now, I know that people say, well, in the word, Elohim is both the male and the female. Listen, I get it.
When I say man, Adamic man or man, I mean male, female. It's both.
So you're talking a hermaphrodite.
Yes. Androgynous, original spiritual template of man is both. And it can become anything because it's infinite potential. So
no, I get the infinite part, but I'm just trying to be Mr. Practicality here.
Right.
Yeah, all right.
That's why I think
Sure.
we used to be so much more evolved than we are now. And like Adam said, why would I want to have sex with myself? That's what I mean. That's another signal that we were put into some type of a cage of our own existence now, instead of going outside to the universe and creating maybe outside of all of this.
But it brings to my mind, I was dreaming about this last night, and it was, I was in a place, I've been there before. And in fact, as I was aware of it, I frequent, and sometimes it has the look of a hotel and lobby. Sometimes it will have the look of like a convention center, sometimes in an actual amphitheater classroom setting. So I've been there before, but I'm there last night, and it's in this hotel lobby. And there's people coming and going, but there's this group, and we're trying to have this conversation because I'm struggling with this fact that if this was the original blueprint, that this species, this genus of Homo, and then you go look in the term Homo, well, that means man. That's what it means. You know, we're Homo sapiens sapiens, supposedly. But it has a complete, now take it that if we are, in fact, as you said, an androgynous hermaphroditic race, well, then this really gets into the split of the path. So I'm sitting there talking, and then I get woke up because, I was out working, and like I got lots to do, but I'm talking this conversation in my head. Where's the woman? And if we are, in fact, as I said, a hermaphroditic race, then there is a path that I haven't seen anything written on this path of what if, in fact, what would the story have unfolded if we had followed that path as being this hermaphroditic androgynous race.
Though, we still have the opportunity to do that if you embrace both parts of yourself, if you actually utilize and awaken and marry.
No, I get that. You're talking about, though, in the state of conscious. I'm trying to get into the physicality. I mean, for us now to go back into one, I don't know if I think we have gone past that point of no return. But then I'm thinking, well, what, huh?
Yeah, that could be right. I mean, the genetics are so twisted now.
Oh, it's messed up, man.
But you know what, though? I do know that within your genetics, because if you once were, you do have the potential to become again, because you can't destroy energy. Those records are still somewhere hidden within your DNA. You still hold them, because within the fractal of the hologram, the entire hologram is present. You have multiple dimensions of holographic information within your body. So
no, I don't deny that, but it's one of those things that as I try to look at this, and and I think that all of that has foundation. I guess I look at this thing from a species point of view now.
Oh yeah, we're so broken, Wayne.
Someone was asking me about how, and they just said this was that this was profound in what the Gnostic awakening, that Rhema of the Logos, as the Greeks would say, the light of the written word, the original thought, knowledge, that this is a being that cursed its own creation.
Yes.
Now, hey, look who's in here. Ryder Lee, how are you?
Ryder.
Would you, I owe Chris Matthew an email. I want to get on his show, and I want to get him, and I'm going to get Ryder back on. Ryder said we would be angels because that's what angels are, androgynous. So then that would say excuse me, Ryder, I'm going to pick up on that and bring it into the conversation. So then that would lead credence that when this Christian God of the Bible, of the Old Testament, and if you're going to tell me they're two different gods, now we really got a big problem. But anyway, that came and cursed what it created. Now, if that curse, let's extrapolate, made an impact from the atom, right? It splits it. Making it a division that as much as we yearn for it, no matter what we do, no matter how much we struggle, it's not going to work. And you see what I'm saying? There's a force, a resistance. So does that make us food for fodder? Because if there are angels that exist, and if there are demons that exist, but of course, I'm struggling where demons, you show me anywhere in the Old Testament where demons are at, but let's go back to the book of Enoch, because now we have the story from the book of Enoch that there was this great division in this perfect kingdom. Again, and I know I've gone through this in Bible school, and now that I'm on this side, it's like, okay, were they human? Yes, no. If they weren't, then is human then a fallen state? Now let's get back to that original state. Then why was there rebellion in a realm, a kingdom, a reality of perfection?
It said the serpent entered the garden. So that
it also says that the serpent was the most cunningness of all the beasts of the field.
Absolutely.
So you know what the word cunning means, right?
Trickster.
Trickster. It means strategist. It means, and that's the other word that, there's so many theologies. We'll tell you about the tricking part, but no. This is a strategist. This is a thinking creature.
It's a magician. It hypnotizes.
But that requires great knowledge, though, Trina.
Yes, it does.
Now, so either we're living in the land of Lord of the Rings in the Middle Earth, because now we're talking sentient beings of a higher intelligence than man. Then man is probably least equipped.
What if part of the getting captured by the serpent was that we lost all of our memory?
Or what if the serpent was here to rescue us, and then the narrative is being twisted because I can't find the narrative to support that this God is a good God?
Well, why would it be if it was?
Well, then why would God answer a prayer? I mean, you're cursed. Why would this God that cursed you answer a prayer for you?
Well, I think that's the whole tricky part about it, is that what do you believe God is, and what I think it is like, it's an interplanetary mind of intelligence. Anastasia said it that way. I was like, that's kind of what it is to me too. It is.
So is there this rebellion on Earth? Because Earth was cursed.
Well, it says you were cast down into the third dimension. So in that, that pretty much would sound like a curse to me if we were kicked out of our home.
So Earth is a cursed place.
It would seem so, because of who is ruling it. The gods of this realm.
See, that saddens me.
They're mean.
In a state of consciousness, in a certain place, because what that's saying is, when Patrick and I did Talking with the Planets, these planets have, which I believe we were tapped into, the distinct personalities of beings.
Yeah, they do.
So if Earth is by this narrative cursed, then where would that put? And here's the weird thing. When I look at Earth compared to the other planets that she abides with, she is of the most beauty. She's the only one that we know that there has a life in this. So what I'm beginning to say, well, then wait a minute, this narrative, what if we were tricked into believing this narrative and we've brought this narrative to pass?
That's what I think is happening.
Yeah.
For real. They give you the script and humans create it because we're the true power of this planet. But we have been misguided and captured by a very evil, egoistic mental construct of serpent, reptilian, draconian construct. And pretty much it says the dragon captured 1/3 of the stars from the heavens. Hello, that's us, the angels. We're light. We're stars.
Yeah.
Human, 5-pointed star. Man makes a star. That's our template.
I think agape love, it's interesting that you said that, because I was out working and, so the thought crossed my mind almost to the same wording, that I don't think we know who actually is the architect of all this. I think we have a lot of imposters.
I think it's a reptilian, whatever. It's got to be. It has to be. It would be the only thing cold enough to consume this way. And it's probably very natural to it because it's always been born of the material world, which is a entropy system. It's born on, this is the way it is. That's why we might not be supposed to be here.
Well, then that brings up this whole thing. I sleep really hot. I mean, my wife will tell you I am like an oven, and there's others that that do the same thing. The interesting thing in the paranormal that I've experienced, that when I have experienced, actual openings and in beings, that there is a coldness always.
Mm-hmm.
And, the visit that Lilith, when she came, I mean, it will drain you of your energy, which then says, okay, so I've heard this also with people that have had NEOs, near-death experiences, that what they experienced was a cold place. And it's interesting because you begin to think about space, outer space is cold, and so it begins to then you think about this. So is the energy that we possess, that I believe is transmutable into the next realm, are we entering in again? What it would appear here is that we are more victims of parasitic entities than anything else. And as a survivor of Lyme disease, that whole thing, when that tick bites you, it injects into you the tiniest of these spirochetes that, wreak havoc. But my point is this: have we gone so far down the genetic line that even has altered that divine spark that,
I don't think that can ever be altered. That's the only part that can't. And that's your saving grace, because you can destroy all the soul energy essence and your mind can be completely wiped because you give away all of its information through compliance to go deeper into the mind control systems of life that they have to offer. And many will do it. Yeah, but you're the little tiny little bit of immortal spark within you, nothing can ever destroy that. And it always goes back to its origin. But, if you destroy everything that you've learned, you're kind of going to start over again through experiencing. It's just.
And then that gets to that whole point of
you're an awareness that knows I am. That is the difference between you and almost everything around you.
I read a book that says when you're talking about deity that uses that's the problem. That's
well, it kind of
it's
is
the curse.
Well, it kind of is, because you're in a separated box, but my I am presence is big. It's universal. So it depends on your perception of the I too. So I know that the I that I am is not this physical body that I'm in. It has nothing to do with it. So it depends on your I am too. What do you perceive of I am? It's not selfish. It's not about ego. The I am presence is basically a consciousness that says that you're part of the consciousness of what most people would consider God. Because it's a universal consciousness of potential that I can connect to through my ability to perceive or ask the right questions. I know I have access to all of it through my I am presence, the part of me that has awareness that's connected to the universal mind.
Yeah. Amy, my answer to that would be yes, that Inanna is Lilith. I think Lilith
I think
was,
right. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
again, it's interesting, and here, when I'm not to digress from where we are, but yet it's all kind of tied in. You see, if the story of Lilith that has been propagated, if that story even has any foundation of truth, then we're into something that I don't know if we're physically or spiritually, mentally, or intelligent enough to deal with. We seem to be involved in something that is so much bigger than us, but somehow or another, we got injected into whatever this is. And, I'll just give some of my experience. People don't steal $100 ideas, but they will steal $100 billion ideas.
Yeah, they will.
So, having said that, then again, it gets back to this question. We have record of us being cursed. We have record that apparently we had something our ancestors did that seems to, even though there is this curse of death, we seem to be able to have the ability to transcend it. But the question that I'm looking at it is this and that's the thing where we have heaven and hell. Is that really what existence is after this?
It's going to be about what you believe.
See,
You
and that's where you get into this.
You might get to go there, because why
well,
not?
and the thing is, but we're so good at, as I've said many times, we're good at defining what hell is. We can't define heaven.
I can define heaven. Just
how would heaven be for you?
It's just a realm of belief. So if you believe in Buddha God, you're going to go to the Buddha God places that match your consciousness. If you believe whatever, you're going to go there. If you worship trees, you're going to go to the tree place. It's about what you believe. You are consciousness. What
so let's we just went through Halloween. So what happens to trapped souls or trapped spirits here that obviously did not make the bus? They didn't get on the train, so to speak. What's happening here?
I think that's very real. And I think like I just helped get rid of 2 children this week that have been literally documented on a psychic investigative thing on the TV, because there were 2 kids in the store, and every morning you wake up, there's handprints all over the glass. Nobody's been inside the building. There's just strong evidence of these kids. And I was like, they need to go home. It's time for them to go. They don't need to be stuck here anymore. And I was like, do you want to be stuck here? And they were like, no. And I was like, yeah, they went their merry way. So that's real. I know it's
so
real.
Are you saying that, see, that's another thing, children in the afterlife?
Yeah, we need to help each other out. And I think now that more of us are understanding that truly there are a lot of lost wandering souls, but they have free will. So we need to know that, honor their free will too. Don't force.
Beware.
Ask. Don't force anything.
Wow, what is Ormeus? Oremus?
Ormeus. Or it's like
Who is that? What is, anyone in the chat room? Oremus.
Wow.
Spirit.
It's a spirit.
Yeah. Wow.
Major.
Gate. Climb.
Wow.
Let.
The first thing that came up was beware of Arminus.
Matrix.
The Matrix.
Tickle.
Wow.
Senses.
Wow, that is pretty. Does anyone have anything?
That's amazing. Ormeus, I'm seeing like the power of the orgone energy, the creative force energy. Beware. They're usually CERN. They're cranking it up. It has something to do with that. That's the warning. They're doing something that's maybe not going to be good.
Well, this is the ghost box, but that is interesting.
Yeah.
It said beware of Armius. It said strong gate, climb the matrix.
I'm the matrix. They're trying to get the matrix open. They're punching a hole through something, Wayne. I'm seeing it. They're trying to create a portal, I think, and it's not going to be good.
Jay says Ormus is a
Healing
monotonic
energy.
metal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
And it has not said another word since then. Holy shit. I mean, that was weird.
Powerful. That's what I'm telling you. When we
Whoa.
start to see what we're
Whoa,
sitting
whoa,
in,
whoa, whoa, whoa.
yeah, we have an opportunity to get out of it and communicate and
Mm,
educate,
mm.
shift our consciousness. That's how we get out, is by our shifting of consciousness. There's nothing else. It's just a mental game. And they want mind control, and they get you to produce their
Monatomic
script.
gold is Ormus, yes.
Ormus, yes, Ormus. monatomic
Ormus.
gold.
A lot of this. Oh, it's Latin for let us pray.
Oh shit.
Monatomic gold. Wow, this is pretty heavy stuff. I mean, the first thing that it said was beware of Ormus, Oremus. And then the next thing it said is climb the gate, strong matrix. Wow. Well, that's the first time I've actually turned it on since I've moved here. That was, and then it just got quiet, you know.
That was so profound. That was very profound.
I have no idea, you know, but I'll go back and look at this part of the tape again, that the show.
I've been writing this down. Interesting. I've been writing down the things that box has been saying, and it's been saying some very interesting things.
I mean, that was just like, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That was, and it hasn't said a word. It just stopped.
Uh-huh.
I mean, come on. I mean, it was a sentence, you know, beware of Ormus. It talked about climbing a gate into the strong matrix. Yeah.
And then it said tickle.
Yeah, tickle. Yeah, that was the last word.
And I think that was, be careful. This is going to tickle the senses. It might be a trap, a lure. It's a trap. It's a lure. It's whatever. I warning. Yeah. Beware. Yeah. Sounds about accurate. Yeah. So yeah, we need to really be anchored into what you are.
What's in the magic box? I don't know what's in it. It's called the pair box, pair 4, and you can get it, as you can see.
Yeah, I think, Wayne, we really are cursed, and I think the curse is the matrix.
Yeah,
and I do think it's an overlay of what is actually real. So, and I do think that we have the chance to be into the organic matrix or the artificial matrix, but we've been in the artificial matrix, believing the script that's been told to us for a long time. I think we're finally at a place, though, now where many people are not even really involved in this world the way we are, and they're living outside of it in their own little worlds. And that's the gateway to the 5th dimension, is the people experiencing that consciousness.
Demon.
Yeah.
No, that's what it just said.
I heard it. Demon.
Congruism.
What was that?
There's the word.
I can't.
What the hell?
Called.
Congrusium has been called close.
Coat.
The coat.
Top.
Cards. That's weird. You know, I'm out in a place where I don't have all the interference. You know, when I lived in Colorado, this is out in the middle of nowhere, and now it's quiet.
What did it say?
Everyone saw it for yourself. It said that the demon and whatever that word or name was. And then it said close.
Remember.
Coat. remember, hop cards. But anyway,
Wow.
and
Interesting.
like I said, I live out in the country.
Bridge.
Remember bridge,
SAT.
SAT.
Darkness. Subject.
Who was that spoke to us? Are you a demon? Let's see if it'll answer.
Let me get a name.
Now it's talking subject.
Gauge.
I ask a question. You can say yes or no. Let's see if it'll answer. That was pretty bizarre for it to actually.
Floor.
Um,
Come. Nebraska. June.
in June.
Weather.
Hmm.
Soil.
This is very odd.
34 years.
Okay. Well,
Sky.
how odd.
Farmers.
Now, this is odd.
Adultery. Bomb. No. Falls.
Falls, FALLS.
Hang.
And hang. Okay.
Tub.
Here we go.
Wow.
Wow.
Very
All
talkative
right.
today.
Very interesting. It's just going off, raised by giant. It just started, that first one just boom, it stopped, and this next one. So I have to go back and look at that name. Did anyone take a look at that name?
What was it? What was it called?
What? That the name? I don't know. I have to go back and look at the replay of the program.
Yeah. Me too.
It looked to be about 14 letters long.
Yeah.
But the first two words was demon and then that name. So
Right.
random words mixed with live chat input, probably. Who knows?
It could be.
But I can tell you, these instruments, and I've got some more, and tomorrow I'll be showing everyone. Wanted to show you.
Joe Sapien says congruism.
What?
And that congruism, that would be like a cult belief system, or like people become congruent in a thought or an energy. That's what I'm seeing. I could be wrong.
Interesting.
He said congruism, because congruent means
Yeah.
you're in the flow.
Yeah, in the flow.
Yeah, congruism. I don't know.
And demon for me means divine one. I don't see it in a negative light.
I've seen demon and daemons. There's both. And it's just the mental consciousness of the energy that once used to be a human.
Joe said he just Googled it. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful, Joe.
Neota says congruence means agreement or harmony, compatibility. Yeah,
And
that's
then
what
it's
it
like
means.
warning, demon.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever this group think thing is that they're trying to get people on board, is the warning. That's
Danger, Will Robinson. It's true. But I finally got it unpacked, and then I put it somewhere. But I have, and I'll show you. We'll be using it a little bit on our show, the full spectrum camera.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. You can see it in all the paranormal shows. It's pretty cool technology. It really is. And the other thing I will be getting is the Echo Box.
Ooh.
So we'll be actually on a show, if we happen to sense a presence, we'll be able to use this ghost Echo Box that, it's pretty interesting.
That is, I love the one you were just using. That one so far is my favorite.
Yeah.
The words, it's like figuring out a puzzle, and what's right, what's junk, what could possibly be important. It's fun.
It is fun.
Hmm. Yeah.
I gotta tell you what, this place where we're at now is, there is so much nature out there. I mean, it's just, I gotta tell you, it is just, these trees, they have an energy that you lay hands on them, and I mean, it's palatable. And yeah, anyway, I digress. It's
No,
been
it's
an
so fun.
interesting
Yeah.
show, dear. I have to say, this has
And
been
I'm reading a book right now called The Ringing Cedars. It's Anastasia, The Ringing
yeah,
Cedars. It's crazy. Yeah, the synchronicities and
yeah.
the reconnecting with nature. This is beautiful.
It
Beautiful.
is, and it's recharging, it's refreshing. It just
Yes. It's
wow.
how we feel best.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that,
Yeah.
you think that you are really in a place that you really enjoy, and when, fate, destiny plays its roles, and you literally have to transport yourself to another place. And it's another world, it wasn't the same world that I knew. And, we don't have neighbors, the nearest neighbor is like, 3 acres away.
Uh-huh.
And it's just interesting that you look at this, and there's at times, even though we do live near a major road, where there is just such a quiet.
Absolutely. I remember when I was little, we had nobody around either, and it was amazing. The quiet. It was profound.
It can almost become deafening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's odd because
It almost
it's like,
becomes so loud.
well, that's just it. You hear, and I
Yeah.
realize that
Becomes
this.
deafening. Yeah, it is.
I think most of us carry, because there's so many people that we're so densely populated with. And of course, I think, with the Wi-Fi and the microwave signals going through, that for us to really find quietness, I don't know, Trina, if that can be done unless you're out in the middle of the ocean. But Elon Musk has made sure that everybody will have the internet. So I don't know. It's something we missed. Hello, Susie Q.
I think it really is. It's so
Yeah.
crazy. There's it's this is, I think, that what the trap is the more that we're connected to the artificial constructs and the televisions and the internets and all this stuff, and the less we're out in nature connecting to the organic world. um this is the lure, this is the trap. I think this is how we've constantly been downgraded and brought further away from what we actually are. It's through the trick or the trap of promising that we're going to become something better than we already are. And the only reason we don't even know what we are is because we have been dumbed down and programmed by the people telling us that we're not more than what we are. So we believe what we perceive. And to not believe anything that we've been told and actually explore what we actually are is the only saving grace for any of us. So
Yeah. And I
that's
keep on
where I'm at.
thinking that as our species, I mean, I just get pissed off because we have been so used and abused. And
Well, it's like so bad. It's like
man,
hypnotized. Like we're really hypnotized. You're really, you know,
well, you know what it tells
forget
me,
them to say
Trina?
know not what they do. Okay, how could they know not what they do? That means you're under some kind of mind control.
Yeah, and you go back to the event of supposedly the Tower of Babel, which is metaphoric to me, that they're afraid of us, because it said, if they ever unite in singleness of thought, there is nothing
They
they will
cannot do.
not be able to create or do.
And I know that's true. Oh
So
my gosh, I know it,
how can there
I
be
know it.
anything of a judgment, anything of this, if they're so afraid of us that this is what they spend all their time doing, is keeping us separated? Wow.
It's true.
And then I'm thinking, does this control exert over to the other side?
Absolutely, because I think it has something to
That
do
just
with
sucks.
control. But
It's like,
but not
gee.
not if you are aware of it. I really do. I think it is that simple. When you have an awareness of it, somehow we've broken the mind control.
And that's
We are no
interesting.
longer hypnotized.
Yeah, when you have that seed planted, I can tell you through a
Mhm.
personal experience, in adult conversation with several couples, there are people who can't handle this.
No way. They
It's
will lose their
so
reality bubble and they'll freak out.
they do.
Yes, they
They
do.
do. I mean, it's like they're not ready for it. And guess what? They're not ready for you either, because they
No, I
ain't going to
know.
come back, you
I
know?
know. I know. I know.
Yeah.
I know this. Yes, I definitely have experienced that kind of. That's how I learned. Be careful who you share what you know with, and try to only feed them what they can digest. And that's so hard for me because I get excited when I see people starting to wake up, and I just want to, I'll get it fast done. But they, I got, they're like, "No, you need to stop.
Yeah, it's
You
trying to give someone a drink from a fire hose.
not just that, it's actually creating a little karma on you just because you've actually caused a little bit of harm and trauma. So you don't want to traumatize people to wake them up. So only give them what they ask you. And I know it's really hard for a lot of us because we're excited, and the potential for them to do it is totally within them. But we get excited. So I've had to learn the hard way to settle down and try not to pop people's bubbles too bad, because if you do it too bad, it almost hurts them and brings them further into the illusion because they freak out.
They do freak out.
They do. They freak out, and you can't blame them. I understand.
Well, it's we ended on a very positive note. If we can just get past the point where we're, you know,
Stuck believing the bullshit we've been fed.
yeah, it's
We
like,
got to get
what?
outside of it and really look into what are we? What
It's
are
interesting.
we?
John Price says
Yeah.
you tickle them to wake them up.
Oh, that's a good
Ooh,
point.
John,
That's
you
a
get a
good point.
gold
I like
star
that.
today, sir. That is interesting. We're going to have to go back and look
Laughter.
at that section. I mean,
Childhood trigger, laughter. That's brilliant. I like.
you tickle them to wake them up. And that is, I think, carries over to a metaphor. That's how you get them to become awake. You tickle them. And, tickling is a fun sensation, right?
So funny. I keep seeing that damn Tickle Me Elmo doll.
Well, I don't know. When
And
I hear that, I keep on
L,
thinking of
father,
Michael
part of God,
Franks.
M-O, mother, part of God. I don't know. That's crazy.
See, when I think of tickle, I think of, Michael Franks yeah. So, okay.
I think of my
Well,
dad
Trina,
tickling me, and I think of
yeah,
my
I like
brother
that,
tickling me.
Yeah. There's so many people. I'm trying to read the comments here. It's going by too quick.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody. Well, Trina, this has been fun.
Interesting for sure.
Wow, it has. The spirit box was, wow.
Yeah. I
That
do think,
was.
Wayne, there's something opening. Many people are seeing
It tells
it
me I have a
this way.
friend here. It used the term demon, but again, I don't see demons as choosing sides in a battle. I mean, that's a narrative that, there's no winning in that. Because if the angels win, then what's their purpose? If the demons win, what's the purpose? I mean,
Right.
and if they're demons and angels, and they had to come, they're either kissing cousins or they're close relatives, one of the two.
It's all from the same thing when you break it down. It all comes from the same thing.
Well, thank you everyone in the chat room. This has been one lovely and most interesting show, no doubt about it. Someone says demons don't care about winning, they're void and angels are wholeness. See, we've got to have this dichotomy, the duality.
Yeah, most people.
Why can't they just be lovers? I mean, isn't that how magnets work? Opposites attract.
I think demon and angel, if the only difference is the consciousness. That's it. They're the same thing.
I mean, the
One,
demons is what
one is-
Solomon controlled to build the temple.
see what I mean? You do something for me, I do something for you. Contracting. To do specific physical tasks in the matrix. Demons can be summoned for that purpose, but then you will pay what they want from you at the end. So you better make sure you know what that is. But the angelics are more service to other they want to just serve others. They're not a you give me, I give you consciousness. That's all it is. It's a difference of mindset, Wayne. That's all it is.
Here we go, folks.
They're the same thing.
Well, much love, everyone. Trina, I'll see you next Tuesday for sure. Thank you, everyone, for your support. Thank you for hitting the like button, and let's feed the algorithm. And I so cherish this group. It just wow, just love it. Trina, thank you, dear.
I love you.
Much love to you. I love you too. I mean, this is wow. This is just this soul tribe. They got the vibe. That's
do.
all I got to say is
They
that,
do.
woof, that's a great ride. See, so I rhyme 3 times like a dime all the time. So that means, as one person wrote, you're a witch. I said, okay, but because I said, witch means wise woman. I said, yeah, I'm going, I was like, well, maybe the wizard, right?
No, maybe wizard. Yeah.
So I don't know. All right, everyone.
Embrace the witch and the wizard in us.
Hey, embrace it all, right?
Wisdom. We need wisdom. Yeah.
I love it. All right, everyone. We'll see you then. All right. Bye-bye.